This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at E3 Expo 2014. Joining me is Ian Shiels. He's user experience designer for Eve Valkyrie from CCP Games. Welcome to the program, Ian.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
So you have, Eve Valkyrie, of course, is like a flagship VR product now. I don't know if it was planned that way, but it ended up that way. Tell us the story of how you started to get involved with Eve Valkyrie and VR.
So it starts off with the dev kit 1, the first Oculus dev kit that was sent out in fairly large numbers, and of course before developers were able to actually get their hands on it, there was very limited opportunity to make any content, and it was a natural step for those of us who got a hold of those first, I think it was first 2 kits we got, that we would want to just try out some ideas and just create a little bit of content for ourselves. And when the first group of guys at CCP Iceland got their hands on the dev kit 1 and started creating a demo, and I got to try it, immediately I was like, right, I want in, like I want to work on this. And we focused on bringing like a nice polished vertical slice type experience to FanFest 2013 as a kind of a treat for the 10th anniversary of EVE Online. Wanted to show them something completely different. It was never really the intention to create a game that was way beyond our kind of wildest imaginations, but it went down so well, and because it was very polished, we decided to bring it to E3 just as like a treat, as something that we thought would be super fun to play at our room last year, and yeah, it just exploded from there. And we had to then think afterwards really seriously about how do we make this a real thing, because a lot of really influential tastemakers and so on at E3 were asking us very seriously, when's it coming out? They believed that this was, this is just a demo of the game that's coming out, and we'd never thought of that previously. So yeah, we went back to the drawing board and we started coming up with a rough plan, and at Gamescom last year we were able to announce Eve Valkyrie, and Eve Valkyrie will be, yes, a made for VR game on the Oculus Rift, and then later we announced it would also be on the Sony Morpheus.
Now, in terms of getting started with this, I think you were an early backer of the Oculus Rift, DK1, and when you got it, what is it about it that made it an obvious fit for Eve Valkyrie?
Well, Valkyrie came after the DK1. We had the DK1 first and no content, and what really kind of lends itself well to a space sim is that we're VR fans at heart, we're sci-fi fans, and we love space games, and so naturally we wanted to, that kind of Battlestar, Star Wars type, single in the cockpit experience. We just, when we first got a glimpse of what the Rift could do, the ability to look around inside a game world, it felt like a very natural fit, and it's just snowballed from there, really.
Okay, very good, very good. So now, how do you keep a story running in the cockpit of a spaceship? I mean, when I think of Eve Valkyrie, I think back at the early days, like Wing Commander. Do you have a story in mind for Eve Valkyrie?
So with the Eve universe, what we have is just a wealth of artwork, of but also just history. I mean, player-created history is something really unique in what's happened in EVE Online over the last 10 years. And so we have this really rich world to draw from in the Valkyrie team, and we're forming our own levels, our maps that really just harken back to real events that occurred in EVE Online. And yeah, I mean, that's our plan going forward, is to create this, rich world which, mirrors the completely alive world inside EVE Online.
When I think of EVE Online, I think of this like massively multiplayer online game, which seems to take on a life of its own. I mean, recently, like I was hearing earlier about this major battle, which costs like 20 Titan ships, and it was 70. Excuse me. Tell us about the battle.
So. The battle you're referring to is called BTAC-R. That's the sort of shorthand for the system name in which it occurred. And what we have in EVE Online after 11 years is this huge amount of massive hardware of these ships, these fleets, and often it is somewhat of an uneasy truce between these very powerful factions, and somewhat of a clerical error, a misclick, caused. It just sparked off this catalyst, a series of events, and as news spread within the EVE universe of what was going down, just more and more players were just rallying to this call, and the battle raged on for I think 24 hours until we had to drop the server for daily downtime, which is quite an unfortunate moment, but yeah, the sheer scale, the sheer numbers involved was so wonderful that we actually at CCP wanted to commemorate that battle, and so we created a permanent monument in the system at the site of the battle called it's quite difficult to pronounce. I think it's Titanomachy. Okay, I might have mispronounced that one, and it essentially is a clash of the Titans. Titans are the largest ship in EVE, and they take like many months to build and a huge amount of resources in the game. One person cannot build it. It really is a huge group of people coming together to create something, and so what could be better than just destroying a huge amount of them? It really, that's what fuels continued growth and excitement in the EVE universe, and it's a real testament and a real achievement of our players to create so much and then to destroy it all in a wonderful big fireball.
How many gamers lost their virtual lives that day?
I believe, and I'm not exactly sure the number, I believe there was 2,951 capsules lost. Capsules are the pods that the EVE pilots actually reside in. At least I think it was around 75 Titans destroyed as well. It was, and hundreds, if not thousands, of other sub-capital ships. The scale of it really baffles, and you have to really look into, a lot of the numbers and the details to be able, as an outsider, to understand, really the scale in which these battles happen. They're really
horrible, absolutely horrible. When I heard the news, I was getting all verklempt and I was sad and teary-eyed, but it took me days to get over, and here we are today. But actually, you mentioned earlier in the conversation, you used Battlestar. I believe you used Battlestar Galactica as an example, but there is a bit of a tie-in with EVE Valkyrie. What is that tie-in?
Of course, I think you're referring to Raun, she is the leader of the Valkyries. She is our sort of star character that drives a lot of the lore that we're creating for this game. And Raun is none other than Katie Sackhoff, our Starbuck. And yeah, it was earlier this year we flew over to LA to meet Katie, and of course, naturally, we brought an Oculus Rift and had her play the game. And she, by her own admission, was not much of a gamer, but she loved it. Like, she really loved it. I think in her message to our fans at FanFest, her exact words that she used when she first played it are, well, they're just laden with profanity, so I won't repeat them. But yeah, she was very much she bought into what we're doing here with Valkyrie, and she has just been a wonderful partner to work with since. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you got some star power attached to the sci-fi star power. And do you see like EVE Valkyrie as having like a story of chapters of like mission A, B, C, and D, or do you see it as something that seems to go on forever as long as it has a life of its own?
We're very much just inspired by the very real scenarios that are created in the EVE universe, and so what we create in the Valkyrie team should be thought of as a tribute to what the players in EVE Online have created. We make changes to the layouts and so on to suit battles, to create points of interest in them, but very much it's like a tribute map, like graveyards of these ships and battles destroyed, industrial complexes, that hearken to the incredible feats and achievements that our players do on a near daily basis in EVE Online.
Now, do you see EVE Valkyrie having an impact on EVE Online? And what I mean by that is, like, you're having these big squadron battles in EVE Valkyrie. Could that have an impact on the EVE Online universe?
we'll probably see ripples of what Valkyrie is. Start to lace into and start to filter across EVE Online. However, we very much have to respect that EVE Online belongs to the players. We as developers have transitioned to the point where we create the tools and we hand these over to the players, and they create the history and create the world with those tools. So there will be clues and hints of the Valkyrie's existence, but where they reside in the greater universe is something that we're working with our players on, and it's something that's going to be emergent over the next few years.
Now, what I heard earlier when you said you showed the demo, everyone had this expectation, well, when's the game being released? When is the game being released? And then you had to actually put some serious work into the game to actually lead it to that release point. So do we have a release date? What's the expectation?
We have goals for where we want to get to in the future, we have to respect that we're developing a game for emergent platforms, and so of course, we want Valkyrie's release to be very closely related to the release of the VR headsets that the game will be on, but it's still to be determined what that date would be.
And have you put any thought into whether it's going to be like a straight purchase, the way you buy, let's say, a $50, $60 game off the shelf, versus a subscription fee where you pay monthly?
We're pre-alpha here, so we're really focusing just on creating just an amazing experience. Those types of decisions will, of course, be made in communication with our existing fan base, and we want people to play our games, so people shouldn't worry.
For sure. So, and finally, you must be very. I mean, I imagine you're personally excited about VR. I mean, you were touched.
Yeah, I mean, we are big VR fans. Today, I managed to slip away from our meeting room for a few minutes to get down to the Oculus show floor booth, and they gave me a demo of Alien Isolation on the DK2, and I jumped out of my skin whenever I was caught by the alien. There's just really, really great VR experiences out there, and we really want to be up there with the best of them. And
so far we're hearing about Oculus. There's likely going to be work with Morpheus as well. I mean, we're really looking for. Sorry, let me let you. All right, go ahead.
Valkyrie is playable on the Morpheus here today.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Excuse me, I stand corrected. So then a remaining question I have for you is, it's still a growing market. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of head-mounted displays and so on. Do you anticipate eValkyrie, having diverse support?
I mean, our goal is for people to play our game, and we're really happy with the two partners that we have. They give us excellent support, and they're really allowing us to create the game that we want to make. So it remains to be seen, but these two partners are, we could not hope for more.
Okay, excellent. So release date, do you have you're going in according to when Oculus is released, or Morpheus, or a combination?
All we can really say at this stage is that their release, our game's release will be related, but to the extent of which we can't really say at this stage.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations. Very exciting stuff. This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at E3 Expo. Back with more. Thank you for watching.